When I broke my ankle, my husband's family told him, "Don't waste your PTO on her. Let her crawl if she has to." I overheard his sister laughing. "If she can't walk, maybe she shouldn't live here." I didn't argue. I just started filing something with HR at my company that would change his entire life. Today he's crying, trying to explain what I've done. When I broke my ankle, it wasn't some dramatic fall. I wasn't skiing or climbing or doing anything risky. I was walking down the stairs with a basket of laundry. My foot slipped on the second step from the bottom, and I heard the snap before I hit the floor. The pain was instant, blinding. I couldn't move. I couldn't even scream right away. I just lay there, gripping the carpet, trying to breathe. It was late afternoon. He was home. I called out, loud as I could. It took him almost 10 minutes to come downstairs. I know because I counted. I was starting to think I might have to crawl to my phone when he finally appeared at the top of the stairs. "What happened?" he asked, sounding more annoyed than worried. "I think I broke my ankle," I said. "I can't move it." He didn't rush. He walked down slowly, looking at me like I was being dramatic. Then he sighed. "Okay, let's get you to the ER."
He didn't help me up. Just stood there.
I had to pull myself onto the bottom step and sit up on my own. He grabbed his keys like he was doing me a favor. In the emergency room, while I was getting x-rays, he stepped out to make a phone call. I wasn't supposed to hear it. I wasn't supposed to know. But they wheeled me through the hallway at the exact moment he was standing near the vending machines, his phone pressed to his ear, talking to his sister. "Don't waste your PTO on her," she said through the speaker. I heard it clear as day. "She'll be fine. She'll milk it if you give her attention." Then came the laughter. "If she can't walk," his sister said, "maybe she shouldn't live there. Let her crawl if she wants sympathy." He chuckled. Not loud, but enough. Enough for me to hear. He didn't defend me. He didn't say a word to push back. I didn't say anything, either. I just looked away, like I hadn't heard, and let the nurse wheel me past. They put my ankle in a boot and gave me crutches. The fracture was clean, but I wouldn't be walking right for weeks. Maybe months. When we got home, I thought he'd ask if I needed anything. A glass of water. A pillow. Help up the stairs. He didn't. He dropped me on the couch and said, "You'll have to figure some of this out on your own. I can't take time off right now." I nodded. I didn't argue.
I didn't ask again.
The next few days were hell. I couldn't cook, couldn't shower, without sitting on the floor. I had to crawl to the bathroom sometimes because the crutches hurt my arms and the house had no railings. He wasn't mean, not directly. But he wasn't kind, either. He acted like I was an inconvenience. Like helping me made him less of a man. His mother even came by once and looked at the dishes piling up in the sink, then turned to me and said, "You're not going to just let this place go to crap because you got a little hurt, are you?" That night, he left to clear his head. Came back after midnight. Smelled like women's perfume. I didn't ask. I already knew. I'd known for a while. He thought I didn't notice the changed passwords. The way he angled his phone away when he texted. The business trips that always got extended for client dinners that never showed up on his calendar. I didn't confront him.
I didn't cry.
I didn't even scream. Instead, I started collecting things. I work in HR. He always forgot that. Or maybe he never respected it enough to realize what I could do. He works for a tech company, mid-level management. Oversees a few teams, mostly remote. Likes to brag that he's the one everyone trusts. The golden boy. The one who never takes vacation but somehow always finds time for personal trips. I started pulling receipts. From our shared accounts. His emails when he forgot to log out on the iPad. I found hotel bookings for cities he never told me he was in. Flights he paid for using his work credit card. Names I didn't recognize until I looked them up and realized they were junior employees. Direct reports. And one name in particular kept popping up. A woman. 27. New hire. He mentored her. Took her on business retreats. I found selfies they took together in a hotel mirror. She was wearing one of his shirts. I didn't get mad. I got quiet. I took screenshots. Archived messages. Opened an anonymous complaint first, just to see what HR at his company would do. They opened a file. Then I filed a formal one. Under my name. Full documentation. Timeline. Names. Proof of expense fraud. Evidence of the affair with a subordinate. Everything. I watched it unfold without saying a word to him. I cooked dinner like nothing had changed. He barely noticed when I stopped limping, when I stopped trying, when I stopped looking at him altogether. And then one morning, he came home from a meeting pale and shaking. "I don't know what's going on," he said. "They're launching a full review. Ethics. Expenses." Some woman complained. "I think they know." I just stared at him. Let him talk. Let him lie. Let him beg. I haven't told him yet that it was me.
Not yet.
But I will. And when I do, I'll make sure he remembers every word his family said about me. Every time they laughed while I crawled across the floor. Every time he looked at me like I was less. Because I may have been weak then. But I'm not anymore. The review at his company got worse fast. At first, they just froze his company credit card. Then they locked him out of his email. Meetings got postponed. His manager stopped replying to his texts. He was pacing the living room every night, on the phone with his sister, asking what he should do. His voice would rise and fall like he was drowning.
Some nights he slammed things.
One night, he punched the bedroom wall and blamed me for not supporting him. "I'm under attack," he said. "This is a witch hunt." I didn't flinch, just nodded. "That's hard." He didn't notice I stopped wearing my wedding ring. He didn't notice I moved a pillow and a blanket to the guest room. He was too busy trying to save himself. But then something happened that cracked him open. HR didn't just question his travel expenses. They contacted the junior employee, the one from the hotel selfies. She didn't protect him. She didn't lie. She sent in her own complaint. I know because she called me. I don't know why she had the courage to speak to me. Maybe guilt. Maybe fear. Maybe she was just tired of being his secret. "I didn't know at first he was married," she said. Her voice was shaking. "He said you were separated. That you were not well." That stopped me cold. "He said I was what?" She started crying. "He said you were mentally unstable. That you refused help. That you couldn't handle life on your own." My chest felt tight. I gripped the phone harder. "I'm so sorry," she whispered.
I didn't know what to say.
I thanked her. Hung up. Then I walked into our bedroom. He was lying on the bed, shirtless, scrolling through his phone like none of this mattered. "I talked to her," I said. He looked up. Blinked.
"Who?"
"The woman from your team. The one you slept with. She told me what you said about me." Silence. I waited. And then, in the quietest voice, he said, "I didn't mean it like that. It was the wrong thing to say. You told her I was unstable? That we were separated? That I couldn't handle life? I needed her to trust me," he said. "I had to say something." That's when I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was absurd. The lies. The entitlement. The way he said it like it was logical. Like it made sense to destroy me just so he could sleep with someone half his age. And then the doorbell rang.
He jumped.
It was a courier. I already knew what it was. He opened the envelope in front of me. His hand shaking. Suspension notice. Immediate. Pending termination. Internal and external audits. I didn't say a word. He dropped onto the floor, right there in the hallway, and put his head in his hands. "Please," he whispered. "Don't do this to me." I wanted to scream at him then. Tell him I hadn't done anything to him. That he did this all on his own. That I just pulled the sheet off what was already there. But I didn't say any of that. I just turned around and went back to the guest room. That night his mother called. I could hear her yelling through the phone. Blaming me. Accusing me of setting him up. Saying I was jealous because I was no longer the woman he married. He didn't defend me then either. Just like before. The next morning, I found my crutches behind the closet. He'd shoved them there weeks ago like he couldn't stand to look at them. I picked them up and leaned them against the front door. A reminder of what I went through while he laughed with his sister. While I crawled across the kitchen floor to get my own glass of water. while they said I didn't deserve to live in my own home. Now he can barely sleep. And he still doesn't know the rest of what I'm doing. He thinks this is the worst it's going to get. He's wrong. 3 days after the suspension, he got a letter from the company's legal department. It wasn't just about ethics anymore. They were investigating financial misconduct, fraud. Because those hotel stays? He'd submitted them under fake client names. Names that didn't check out. He started drinking during the day. I found a whiskey bottle under the sink in the guest bathroom. It was half empty. That night, he asked me if I would talk to HR on his behalf. If you say I wasn't acting alone, he said, if you say we were both struggling, maybe they'll go lighter on me. I looked at him for a long time. You want me to lie? No, he said quickly. Just bend it. Say you knew about the trips. That we were working through it. We weren't working through anything, I said. You were working through her. His eyes filled with tears. I'll lose everything, he said. My job. My reputation. He didn't say you. Not once. Not I'll lose you. Just everything else.
It was always about the image.
The life. The status. But what he didn't know was that I'd already started separating myself from him. Legally. I'd spoken to a lawyer the week before. Quietly. Carefully. I'd already signed papers putting the house under review because I had bought it before we were married, and his name had never officially been added. The lawyer was confident. He doesn't have a claim, she told me. And based on what you've told me, we can build a very strong case for spousal misconduct. He didn't know I'd opened a new bank account, moved my paychecks, changed my beneficiaries. Bit by bit, I was untangling the life we had shared. But the twist I didn't expect came from someone else. His sister. The one who had laughed about me crawling. She showed up at the house one afternoon. No warning. Just walked in like she owned the place, shouting his name. He came down the stairs fast, pale, sweating. Like he knew something was coming. She held up her phone. You're a damn idiot, she hissed at him. You know who called me? That woman you slept with. You told her I said you should let your wife crawl. She sent me the message. Screenshot. I stood still in the kitchen, listening. She asked me if I always hated your wife. If I laughed at disabled people. If I had no soul. He tried to talk, but she shoved him. You made me look like a monster, she said. I was joking. A stupid joke. But now my boss saw it. And guess what? Her cousin works in disability advocacy. They think I'm ableist trash. He looked at me, panicked. You sent it to her, he said. Didn't you? I didn't answer. I just dried my hands with a towel and kept staring at him. His sister stormed out, slamming the door so hard it cracked the frame. Later that night, he followed me into the kitchen.
His voice low, quiet.
You're destroying me. I looked at him. No, I said. You destroyed yourself. I just stopped protecting you. He didn't speak. Just stood there. He looked small now. Not angry. Not powerful. Just empty.
But what I saw next surprised me.
He started to cry, not loud or dramatic, but the kind of crying that looks like a man finally realizing the truth. That no one was coming to save him. That he was going to lose everything, and not because someone betrayed him, but because he got caught. And still, through all that, I felt nothing. Not pity. Not rage. Just silence. But I wasn't done yet. Because there was one more thing he didn't know. One more secret I'd been keeping. Something I found in his old email, before he changed the password. An email from years ago. From my company.
To him. And it wasn't about me.
It was about an offer.
A job.
They had offered him a position 2 years ago. A good one. High pay. Full benefits. He never told me. He turned it down behind my back. Because he didn't want to work where his wife could keep tabs on him. Because he didn't want me to have the upper hand. That choice had changed our whole future. We struggled financially that year. I took overtime. Skipped vacations. Thought we were in it together. But he had chosen pride over partnership.
And now?
Now he was out of options. And I was just getting started. He didn't speak to me for 2 days after the last blow, the job offer from my company he had hidden from me. He wandered the house like a ghost, avoiding my eyes. His phone kept ringing, calls from his lawyer, his HR department, his family, but he answered none of them. Then the mail came. A thick envelope. Legal papers. The audit findings were complete. The company was firing him. Officially. No severance. No reference. No return. And they were turning the case over to the authorities for misuse of company funds.
Fraud.
I watched him sit on the floor in our bedroom, holding the letter. His hands shook. I didn't think they'd take it this far, he whispered. You never think things through, I said. He looked up at me, red-eyed, angry. Why are you doing this to me? I stepped closer, calm. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm just no longer standing between you and the consequences. That night, I moved the last of my things into the guest room. I locked the door. The next morning, I filed the divorce papers. I served him myself. He read them in silence.
No begging.
No yelling this time. Just defeat. He knew he couldn't fight it. Everything was in writing, his affairs, his lies, the way he abandoned me when I was hurt. Even the cruelty of his family, which I had documented. The texts. The call recordings. He tried to call his mother after I left to go to work, but she didn't answer. She had problems of her own now, because I had sent the full audio of her comments about letting me crawl to the hospital board where she volunteered. They revoked her seat. One of the members had a disabled daughter. His sister wasn't doing much better. Her company opened an internal review after the screenshots of her mocking comments went viral, anonymously posted, but unmistakably hers. She was suspended from work. Her reputation was shot. No one wanted to hire the woman who laughed about a broken woman crawling across the floor. All the people who said I was weak were suddenly silent. But the most powerful revenge didn't come from what I did to them. It came from what I did for myself. I didn't just leave him. I erased him. I changed my name back, sold the house, took the profit and moved across the state. Bought a small place by the water. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I found peace in silence. I found strength in being alone. I kept working, got promoted, started speaking at women's leadership events, quietly told my story without using names. People listened. Women cried, not because it was sad, but because they saw themselves in it. In the crawling, in the silence, in the way we all pretend everything is fine when it's not. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I got a letter from him. He was working part-time at a car rental desk. Couldn't find anything else. No references. No savings. Facing charges. Alone. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He asked for help. Said he didn't know who else to turn to. I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Some stories don't end with a scream or a bang. Some end with a quiet door closing, a strong woman walking away, and a man realizing too late that the woman he once stepped over was the only one who ever truly stood by him.
Until she didn't.
That was the real revenge. And it was complete.